Welcome back to episode 11 of our programming series. We're going to be talking about what's known as function overloading. So function overloading is the concept of having multiple functions with the same exact name that do different things. So you can see here in this Java program, I have a lot of functions down here and they're all called add. So they all have the same name, but you can see that there's one thing different with each one. So here we have two parameters, A and B, and they're of type int. And then in our second one, we have three parameters of type int. So one way to overload a function is just by passing in a different amount of parameters here. So when I actually run this, so you can see here I'm calling the first function, here I'm calling the second function. They'll run the two different functions. So we have 3 and 6 here. So you can see that function add is overloaded. And we can do this a few other ways. So one way we can do this is by passing in a different type for our parameters. So you can see instead of having ints as our type, we have chars. And for every character in the ASCII table, there's an associated int. That's why this works. So you can see when I call this function here in the third line with B and S, it prints out the int. So it calls this third function. And another way to do this is by changing the order. So you can see here's a function that takes an int as a parameter and a char. So A is the int, B is the char, and it returns A plus B. And then you can see here in our next function, I just switched the order. So A is now the char and B is now the int. So that's another way you can just switch the order of different types of parameters. So yeah, that's what function overloading is. I believe those are the main ways to do it. If there's any others that I forgot, then just mention it in the comments.